Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, November 28th, or at least it is for the next couple of minutes. It's about midnight and I started late and we've got a lot to do, so I need to get I could leave one of these over for Friday, but I need to get either 2 victories for a Shaman and Warlock or play Druid cards. I've been playing Druid, so I'm going to move over to Zoo Warlock, and we'll see how that works. I still have a ton of news to do. I haven't gone to the Asian account at all. That's generally why I'm trying to do all of the daily quests and such today, is just to catch up. So the first article we have is from Game Sutra. Top voice actors sign on to help pre-read your game scripts for free. Let's see. Veteran voice actors Jennifer Hale, Sarah Almala, and Sissy Jones are spearheading a new help network program in Los Angeles that aims to offer game devs opportunities to hear their scripts performed during pre-production. So what I imagine this is, and this is just a guess, it's an opportunity for people who are in this program, those 3 people in particular, to read the scripts out loud to the game developers and publishers. Thus, the game developers and publishers fall in love with the way it sounds by those voice actors, and thus those voice actors get the job. This is a way in which voice actors who probably don't work as much as they would like to work, or I would argue maybe don't get paid enough when they do work, this is an opportunity for them to do something in their off time and thus continue to benefit. I didn't do that right at all. I should have played this first. But I guess I'll do this. It's playtime. And then I'll do this. Let's see. The article goes on. This new SWAT, SWAAT, special workshops and actors tactics, which you really wouldn't put the A in there. The original SWAT is like special weapons and tactical and advanced tactics. So they've almost done the exact same reference.
Face the light.
Team is particularly notable not just for its high-end headliners, having worked from Mass Effect and Firewatch to Gone Home and Final Fantasy 15, but also the entry fee being free. Alright, so let's just go through this. You very possibly, I don't know who these voice actresses are. It doesn't seem like, yeah, there are any men in these 3 here. It seems like to me, if I was to guess, that you could have been in any of the Mass Effect games and they would have been either minor roles, or you could have been in Mass Effect Andromeda and done a bad role. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some bad roles also done done in the previous Mass Effect games. Firewatch, I could see how you maybe don't want to work with Campo Santo, which would now be Valve, particularly if you're in LA, and I don't think Valve is in LA. I think Valve is in Richmond, Washington. So, like, maybe Campo Santo moved. That might be the issue there. Or it could be that all three of these people have been secretly blacklisted, and they just know they either don't want to work for these companies before, or aren't going to get hired from these companies before. Again, Gone Home has basically 2 voice actors in them. They were good, I suppose. Final Fantasy 15. You're probably not... I didn't hear any real glowing rules on Final Fantasy 15 either. That being said, I'm being actually pretty critical on the voice actors because it's hardly a case of any voice actors in video games being really, really great, with the exception of a few voice actors who become overused and then their voice becomes very, very recognizable. So let's continue with this. It really is up to you. You'd have to think about these voice actors and see if they're really offering anything useful by these specific voice actors reading them out loud. Let's see. Let's go ahead and re-roll several things. The article continues. However, there are some caveats. SWAT is offering 2-hour workshops, either in LA virtually or even with enough planning and funding on site to help you polish your game script, and they request no more than 2 table reads per project. So it's just basically a foot in the door idea. It's like we'll do 2 table reads, which probably is not enough. I wouldn't be surprised if over the course of several months there's like 4 or 5 table reads before you even start getting into recording. Let's see. The next paragraph. Also, you aren't allowed to record the actors' performances and require specific actors as members of the SWAT team, which includes a number of industrial professionals in addition to the 3 named above, are brought in on a base on their personal work schedule. So it really is a scheme to just give people something to do when there's nothing else, when they're not business. Obviously, if you like what you hear, the SWAT folks are hoping you decide to work with them and help to cast your game. You'll need to work with SAG-AFTRA to do so, since the performers are part of the union, but SWAT itself is not affiliated with SAG-AFTRA. I suppose the idea also here is that if you were making a video game and you were thinking about not voicing the characters, which there are definitely a lot of mid-tier and low-tier games that don't have any voice actors in it, something like this might push a couple of game developers into hiring voice actors. If they're thinking about that, it might also help developers of games get more funding from upper management if you can convince upper management to say, hey, let's bring in these guys and let you hear them. But this seems like it's not going to be very groundbreaking in the end. But it does give the voice actors something to do in their off time, which arguably, again, I would say it'd be better if they just got paid more so they could enjoy their own lives. But a lot of people, frankly, are workaholics and don't know what to do with themselves if they're not working. So in the last recording, there was a GameIndustry.biz article that that said Nintendo was on track to not make its sales its sales goals. Well, contradicting this somewhat, Gamasutra has an article, Switch stars as Nintendo hits big holiday milestone in the US. Consumers in the United States spent over $250 million on Nintendo products from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday, and the Switch was the star of the show. The result is that the... Let's see, how do I want to do this? Here. Here. And... here. That resulted in the console having its best selling week ever in the US and took lifetime Switch sales in the States to 8.2 million units. Still wasn't Hardwell bringing home the bacon sales of first-party games, including digital downloads, topped 1 million units during the period, rising by 78% year over year. The 3DS also chipped in with strong holiday sales, and the dedicated handheld now has an install base of 22 million consoles in the US alone. So yeah, it seems like to me the Nintendo Switch was the game to get during Black Friday, which kind of makes sense. There wasn't anything else that was too good. You could get a refurbished Xbox 360 for free after rebate from GameStop. That was a pretty good deal. But this was the season for the Switch to sell, because next year probably a new Xbox or a new PlayStation, and I bet that's gonna suffer. The SNES Classic surpassed 2.5 million time and lifetime sales over the holidays, while the NES Classic eased past the 2 million sales mark. So the two Classic series also played a role. Overall, total US hardware sales for Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday increased 45% over the same period in 2017. And a big part of that certainly is just people aren't questioning whether the Switch is a success anymore. The Switch now feels like it's here to stay, and that is kind of that. Like, let's see, this.
Your magic shall not save you.
We're close. Here. Next, we have Artifact on Steam, the latest Valve game. Valve published a game, who would have guessed? Unfortunately, it's a pay-to-play card game that overall is negative coverage. So, at best, we're mixed reviews here. Card games, particularly this one, will stay on the fall list, but Artifact has seriously failed to come out with a big bang, and unless they did a major re-release where, like, they came out again and said, okay, now it's free to play, and everybody's gonna get like 50 packs to play, and we've done a lot of polishing and made the game a lot more interesting, and it has these unique concepts that Hearthstone is not doing. Like, unless it can just magically overnight become a true Hearthstone replacement, I'm not gonna play it. And frankly, Artifact has this problem because it is too much a case of a complicated game, whereas I play Hearthstone so So it's because it's not complicated, because I can take time and look at the news and look at the video games that came out. If I can't take that breath in every turn, if I'm having to switch between 3 different play fields like you have to do in Artifact, that's not going to work for me. Next we have a game on Steam that's, I think, called Unbind. It looks like it's a Chinese cheap JRPG ripoff. Oh, I guess it's a JRPG, it's just a cheap one. Yeah, see, Japanese sometimes do make cheap games. Like, not widescreen. And yeah, it definitely doesn't look like it's that good. Doesn't particularly look like an RPG Maker game, so there's something to be said about that at least.
In the light's name.
Why do you call?
So yeah, that's not going to the follow list. Gamasutra has a feature called Ethics 101, Designing Morality in Games. This came out in 2010. I wonder why they republished it. Like, it's talking about Bioshock and Bioshock 2 and ethics, like the morality of killing or saving the little sisters, which was hardly a complicated choice. Guess we'll do this. Let's go ahead and just kill that guy. So yeah, there's no reason to reread an article. I hate when these news sites do that. Just, hey, we've got nothing to publish, so let's just publish something we've already published. Good thing YouTube can't really do that. I mean, I could download a video and re-upload it, but nobody would be happy with that, including myself. I should have killed this. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Secrets of the Past Dion. It says it's an educational puzzle game, but it looks like it's a kind of click to wait cell phone archaeology game. Yeah, it's a click to wait game. This would suck. It sucks on cell phones, the click to wait style gameplays. I imagine you would just unearth this one area and that is it. I bet this developer is planning on making several other games that are exactly the same. $3.99 for this game. Yeah. Yep. Let's play. Okay, let's do this right now.
Face the light.
Kill this one. Kill that one. Do that. Do that. So yeah, that game's not making it to the follow list. TechRaptor has an article. The Australian loot box report recommends, quote, comprehensive review, end quote. So yeah. The Australian loot box issue, loot boxes in Australia, is not just going to disappear by itself, and it's not going to disappear probably in the European market either. The United States is so willing to screw over the consumer that they'll let it still happen, of course, but everywhere else in the world, including Japan, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some restrictions in Japan too for loot box, at least on paper. This is not gonna stop, so loot boxes need to go away, and any developer like EA that has built so much around the idea of loot boxes making them money needs to find a different business model fast. Really, really fast. Because you're not gonna, it's not gonna last. No. A failure to pivot now, it should be pivoting right now, is going to cost EA, Ubisoft, I imagine a few others, Square Enix even. It's going to cost them a lot. Next we have a game on Steam called Ancient Tower. It's a tower defense game, and I kind of have no interest in playing a tower defense game usually. But this one looks kind of polished. So I'll put it on the follow list. We'll see if maybe this one has some different ideas or mentalities to it. In fairness, it looks like it's a cell phone port, and $9.99 is not worth it. But this is also a game that I imagine, give it a couple weeks and it will have enough reviews to tell me that it's not worth it. Because that's where I'm leaning. But I want to wait. I want to actually see what people who buy the game say.
None will survive.
TechRaptor has a review for the game Remothered Tormented Fathers. The article is Remothered Tormented Fathers Review - A Twisted Experience. This is one of the games that was on my follow list, I believe, if not wish list, and it didn't have enough reviews, so I was waiting to see how it looked, because it kind of looks like a pretty good single A game, maybe double A game. 3D graphics. So they gave it a 77.5, which is actually very good.
Speak your peace.
And let's see, the summary is: despite its flaws, Remothered Tormented Fathers is a step in the right direction for survival horror. Horror fans should give this game a serious look. Pros: genuinely tense atmosphere, soundtrack enhances horror, pleasing visuals, both breaks and embraces horror conventions. The cons are poor written translations, the dialogue and cutscenes is rushed, and it's a somewhat convoluted story. But I like that. I like that the review is telling me this game is kind of good, so. Well, I'm gonna double check to see that Remothered is on the wish list and maybe even put it at the top of the wish list. Or near the top of the wish list. I don't know how well I'm gonna actually maintain that wish list. Probably not very much. Frankly, things at the first third of the wish list in ranked order are the games I really want to play, but there's really no sorting inside of that. I'm hardly going number one on the wish list is the number one game I want to play, although it probably is, because it's probably missed 3 and missed 4. But after that, number 4 is not inherently the 4th game I want to play. TechRaptor has an article, Where the Shadows Slumber review, Colorful Cliffs and Dark Depths. This is another game that was on my follow list at least. I don't know, wanted to see the reviews here. Why I'm putting faith in TechRaptor's reviews, I don't know, but I guess I am for the time being. I've yet to play a game that they've reviewed well and thought, no, that was way off the mark. Like, to be fair,
What a bother.
most mainstream video game journalists' reviews aren't incredibly horribly out of line with the general public. It's just that their opinions and their actions outside of giving a game a score and reviewing a game, purely reviewing a game, it is just offensive and SJW-ing crazy. To the point where you don't want to listen to them about anything. I particularly don't want to listen to them about anything because because
What a bond.
their entire perspective on reality is skewed. For this game, though, they gave it an 8.0. Summary: where Shadow's Slumber combines intriguing puzzle gameplay with compelling, albeit strange, story backend by beautifully clean art. Pros are clever puzzles using shadow mechanics, beautiful level design, intriguing story and setting. Cons are minor bugs occasionally requiring restarts and little to no replayability. Replayability for me, since I have so many games, is not too much of an issue these days. In all honesty, it was never really much of an issue to me. Like, I always had more than enough games for the amount of time I had. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article, The Dark Pictures, Man of Medan, First Developer Diary. So this is a game that is being developed between publisher Bandai Namco and developer Supermassive Games. Let's see. That's a trailer, so let's see what this is. Now I know Supermassive, but I can't right now figure out what they made. And apparently the Dark Pictures Anthology is going to be like a series of scary anthological stories, non-connected stories. The game looks 3D, and you're on some like creepy ship. Basically what I'm seeing here is just some 3D renderings and some stills of the ship, but I'm not seeing any characters or any gameplay or anything so far. And of course somebody's talking while this is all happening, so that would probably make more sense if I didn't have the video muted. Didn't Supermassive Games make Braid? Not Braid, Bastion? I think Supermassive made Bastion, so if they're going from making Bastion to this hyper-realistic 3D rendering, that is quite the step up in the style of game that they're making. I'm seeing a character walking down the hall with a flashlight, and that's kind of it. Walking, I guess not walking down the hall as much as walking towards me. This game has a very Dying Light feel to it. I wouldn't be surprised if this is an idea, taking the idea of Dying Light and sprucing it up, or continuing with. Alright, so if I kill something right now, I could give everything else extra damage. Or I could have just waited. Should have just waited. Should have killed that though. That was pointless. Yeah, the diary thing didn't really show too much. The Dark Pictures Man of Medan is due out for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC in 2019. When it comes out, I'll be interested in it, but right now it kind of doesn't matter. Gamatsu has a article, Dragon Ball FighterZ November 2018 update trailer. 2 of the 3 new updates are available today. Let's see. First update part is a FighterZ tournament, which is a new online tournament mode featuring several new matchmaking rules culminating in a final 8 player bracket. The winners and runner-ups in each tournament receive special rewards and Z trophies, which players can then display on their new Z trophy room. Let's see. This and this. The second new feature is the Z Trophy Room, where rooms are unique to each player. Players will gain Z trophies that can be showcased in their Z Trophies room, as well as with their lobby avatars. More and more players can then visit Z Trophy rooms of others and invite their friends to show off their own collections. The third update is arriving December 5th, 2018, and will feature a variety of new festive themed avatars and color variations characters, including Vegeta, Trunks, Tien, and Android 18. We'll have Santa Claus themed avatars with Krillin and Boo dressed as reindeers and snowman respectively, with new Christmas color sets featuring red, green, and gold. Will also be available for all characters. Okay, so never has there been a better time, I suppose, to get into Dragon Ball Fighter Z if you have any interest in getting into Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Yeah, I don't know how to do this.
For the wild.
Maybe let's do that. Like, this guy's just getting more and more armor this whole time, saving himself. I didn't play well, clearly. Let's see. Although all I need to be doing is actually playing Druid cards, so I'm playing perfectly fine. TechRaptor has an article. She remembered caterpillars, an experience for the fungus among us. There's another game that was on the fall list or wish list. Let's see how they review this one. Ooh, they didn't give this one a score. Overall, she remembered Caterpillars as a fun puzzle game with very interesting premise. If you told me I'd be having a good time playing a relaxing game about fungus, I probably wouldn't have believed you, but Caterpillars go to show that hidden gems can be found in the unlikeliest places. It's kind of funny that TechRaptor people seem to not bother to give review scores half the time. Like, I don't know how their system is designed at all. It seems like, if you want to give a score, you can give a score. If you don't want to give a score, then give a score. Which, I'm fine with that. That seems cool as an idea. But it's something they should explain better on every article. It should say at the bottom, like, this article, we chose not to give this game a score. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Sea Creatures, which is just a matching game. Standard, pretty low effort game. Nothing that actually you'd want to even pay 59 cents for. So, of course, that's not going to the list. And if you didn't have enough matching games in your life, you could also get Bird Memory, which almost certainly this is the same developer that before, yeah. Sea Creatures, Bird Memory, and several other very low effort games from this developer. Yep.
For the wilds.
Might as well just end this here. So I need to play 7 more Druid cards. Next we have a game on Steam called actual volleyball, which, while it seems like it might actually be volleyball, it's not anything super polished visually. If I'm gonna play volleyball, it's probably gonna be something like Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, and not just because of the anime girls. Like, if you took that same game and put them all in regular clothing, like if you put them even in very conservative clothing while playing volleyball, less than wearing like a full shirt and full, I guess, shorts. I don't know if you could really play volleyball in pants. Let's just say, yeah, full pants, full shorts, guys and girls, or just all guys playing volleyball, which is not realistic at all, because in the real world, in the Olympics, they are wearing at least slightly revealing clothing when playing volleyball. But even if they were fully covered up, I'd still want that 3D model aspect in volleyball. So like playing a 2D game on a very flat, like solid green grass with some 2D characters, this is just not what you want. You want 3D if you're going to play volleyball, and that's a big if in general. It's like, volleyball's not that complicated a game. If you want to play it, you should just go play it in real life. I think that's kind of true for a lot of sports games. Like, it's kind of odd that there are so many soccer and football games available for purchase, when really you could just be out there playing for real. Alright, I'm gonna start with this and hope this guy doesn't kill him. Next we have a game on Steam called King Randall's Party, which is a 2D kind of tower defense style game. You build a wall, invaders come, you put up some defenses. It looks a lot like a Terraria ripoff with just a different gameplay mechanic, and it's not particularly interesting. $9.99. So yep. Let's play this. The scourge will devour more. And this. See, next turn I'm gonna try and play this and this, which should give me a lot. GameIndustry.biz has an article. THQ Nordic CEO responds to mixed Darksiders 3 reviews. Lars Wingefors, that's Wingefors, says he is, quote, really proud of the first new entry in the series since the previous publisher's collapse. This will certainly be interesting to read, so I'm going to spend more time reading this than I normally would. Let's see, there should be 2 more. Nope, I only got 4 out of that instead of 3. Interesting.
Hey, catch!
That's still not too bad. The article starts, Darksiders has finally returned to the shelves, but has received a mixed reception from the media. The Apocalypse action-adventure reviewed best on PC with a Metacritic score of 72, with the Xbox One just behind it, 71, and the PS4 version seems to have been divided, critics the most attaining an average score of 66. These scores are by no means bad, but in a quarter where any release is competing with Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Battlefield 5, haha, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which has probably been forgotten at this point, and aggressive discounting from retailers, any publisher would no doubt hope for better from their big holiday release. They really screwed up.
I don't have enough
in my opinion. Let's see, we're gonna have to do this, but then that won't work anyway, so let's just go ahead and Do
The
this.
light protects me.
And then this. This. And this. Let's see. But THQ Nordic CEO Lars Wingfors remains pleased with the final product and believes it is a testament to how the publisher is honoring the forebears' legacy. Personally, I think they could have released Darksiders 3 in a much better state as a much better game 2 years from now. Honestly, there was no rush to release Darksiders 3. No rush at all. But the promise we made was to deliver a game that the fans of the franchise and to deliver a game to the fans of the franchise. Well, I guess they accomplished that, but that's not much of a promise, frankly. We promised to deliver a game, so we delivered a game. Let's see. If I kill this one, that'll set me up to play this next turn.
I fight.
Let's see. So the end of the quote was, "And I'm really proud of it." He tells GameIndustry.biz. New quote: "I'm really proud of what we've been able to show you. I think the developer, Gunfire, has made an excellent game, and even my publishing team in Vienna has been working really hard to execute on this. All the marketing, all the behind-the-scenes things." They didn't end that quote. But then they started another quote: "Everything around the publishing of the Apocalypse Edition has been a logistics challenge. A lot of people have spent a lot of time over the past few months to make this happen." I assume the Apocalypse Edition is the version that has a bunch of minifigures in it. Like, that was... I saw some streamers talking about that and just how ridiculous that was. Or how ridiculous it looked.
I fight.
Alright, do we want to kill something? Do we want to wait? I think I can just wait. Addressing the reviews, he continued, "There are always a few people not enjoying this kind of product, but there are also people enjoying it. If we stick to our promise and deliver a product that the fans really enjoy, I think we'll be fine." Which I suppose is the right response. I mean, it's doing not very good on the Steam reviews, frankly, though. It's much lower than 70. It's closer. It's like 54%. Darksiders 3 is a significant release for THQ Nordic. It's the first time the publisher has produced a new entry in the franchise that from the previous incarnation of THQ, which is a statement in itself that they are literally just calling themselves the new incarnation of THQ, which we kind of knew that's how they felt about it, but I don't think they've said it out loud yet. So far, most releases from the plethora of IP Wingfors firm has acquired over the years have been remasters or re-releases. Well, the Black Mirror remake really wasn't a remaster or re-releases, such as this year's Red Faction or Titan Quest outings. The CEO praised the team for producing a new Darksiders in a timely manner. I think the CEO is probably covering his own butt here because he probably didn't give him enough time, if I was to guess. Although was keen to rein in expectations that THQ Nordic would regularly pump out new titles from these past franchises. With Darksiders, we have been fairly quick, he says. It only took 5 years from the acquisition to actually bring out a sequel. Yeah, they should have gone 8. They should have gone 7. That's the time, like 5 years ago, Dark Souls would have been the big thing, and it certainly makes sense now why this feels like a Dark Souls game. That's the time band we're working on. Out of the more than 100 IPs we own, you shouldn't expect sequels from all of them because not all IPs are relevant anymore. In THQ Nordic's latest financial results, the publisher reported revenues having risen 1,403% year over year in the last quarter to $139.5 million, thanks in no small part to the acquisition of Koch Media and Deep Silver. The publisher also said it had 55 titles in development, although only 20 have been announced. And of those 55 titles right now, how many people are excited for any of them? If Darksiders 3 was not given the care and love it needed to be done, I kind of don't feel like any of the other previous games matter. Like, maybe they'll release something that would catch my attention, but right now, I think they should put on the brakes and fix Darksiders 3 and like do something majorly differently there. Put in an easy mode, fix all the bugs,
My greeting for the wild.
do something. Not really an article here that I have open, but somebody somewhere found a way to play the Microsoft Xbox accessibility controller on a Nintendo Switch. Basically, there's a Xbox controller to Switch adapter that you can get, I think on Amazon or online somewhere, where you plug in a standard Xbox controller into this adapter, and then on the other side you plug in the adapter into the Switch. It looks like you have to have a special like USB, maybe USB 3 to USB-C to micro USB or USB-A cord. So you'd have to do some research to figure out the right adapters and cords you needed, or one adapter or two adapters. But then if you just plug in the Microsoft accessibility controller, it returns itself in response and acts just like a regular Microsoft controller, so it's not really a big deal or even much of a surprise that it would work. I actually saw somebody taking apart an Xbox One controller, and the headphone jack on the bottom of the controller is actually not soldered or stuck in place at all. It's designed so that if you yank it or shift it, it does not break the rest of the circuit board, which is an interesting design. Maybe not the right way to do it, but maybe exactly the right way to do it. But yeah, I was watching Ben Heckendorf, I believe is his name, convert a controller to be all right-handed. So for somebody who I assume has very limited or no use of their left hand. And so apparently he's figured out the whole system here. Next game we have on Steam, I can't show you, it's called Klondike and Girls. It's Klondike Solitaire with anime girls on the card faces, and it's tagged with nudity and sexual content. In all fairness, if you're into card games, playing solitaire and you want to look at anime girls at the same time, this isn't a terrible thought. It's $2.99 though, and it's pretty expensive. It's just Klondike Solitaire, so you really can't do too much there to make it a great game or to make it a terrible game. this is a card game that I would say it's right on the level of like the Hearthstone coin mod that exists. It's just like, oh yeah, you could play Hearthstone and look at some nudity if you wanted to. But there's, I suppose, also an argument about too much of a good thing, you know? Sometimes your porn time should be special time. You shouldn't embrace a lifestyle in which you're always looking at naked people, because then it's going to be hard for you to realize how special that can be at times. But so yeah, I've seen some people certainly that have played solitaire like non-stop. Back in the day, before the internet was a big thing, that was the thing a lot of people who really didn't have any work to do were doing at their job, is they were just playing solitaire all day for 8 hours a day. If you're playing solitaire for 8 hours a day and you're looking at anime girls, you probably get bored of seeing the same pictures over and over again, but you might also very much get a little desensitized to it. Moving on, we have a game called Pranky Cat, which it looks like this is it's a little too generic of a game, frankly. It's not quite there, I don't think. So yeah, $1.79. I don't see anything there that should put that on the wish list.
So many.
Next we have a game on Steam called Give Me Coins, which looks like a Super Meat Boy style of game, where you're either trying to avoid coins or collect the coins. I think you're trying to collect the coins. But you have probably only a certain amount of time to do it. Seems like this guy is avoiding coins. Or maybe I'm misinterpreting what I think are coins as actually the enemies, and he's avoiding the enemies and collecting coins. Either way, this game doesn't look interesting enough, and it's one of these Super Meat Boy platformers that it's zoomed out too far, and it's not something I'd want to play anyways. Next we have a game called Dr. Chaplot's Nanobots, which looks like a Dr. Mario style match 3 style game, although it's actually not Dr. Mario style. Maybe it's more of a puzzle game. I'll put this on the follow list. $7 seems way too expensive for what is clearly a cell phone port though. But I'll put it on the follow list and we'll see if people come back and decide that is something that's worth covering. Let's see, can I do this now? I think I can. We're getting victories, but really all I was trying to do was play cards. And it's now 1 in the morning Central Time. We are done with the European account, and we're moving over to the Asian account. The good news there, I suppose, is that theoretically that means... I don't know, the time difference. Maybe that means something good, maybe it doesn't. Let's see, while we wait for that to load, we have a game on Steam called Emergency 2. Now, the idea of an emergency game, like there is this Japanese one that they won't bring outside of Japan called Disaster Report, and I'd like to play the Disaster Report series. It's not flat and 2D like this, but ignoring that, it's a real-time strategy game where you're acting as first responders, which that is a new idea certainly for a real-time strategy. So I'm going to put this on the follow list, and we'll see if this developer has made anything else. Oh man. The only game that they have that's even slightly positive is called Emergency 20, but Emergency 2014 is mixed, and apparently Emergency 3 is already out, so they're just re-releasing the previous one, an Emergency Classic. Man, I like the concept. I hate the fact that it's badly reviewed. I was just about to put it on the follow list, but I might as well not do that. Emergency 4 Deluxe is also mixed. I'm looking at the Steam's recommendation engine, and that's when you know you're really desperate. That sucks. The idea sounded like a cool idea. Alright, so we have Paladin, a Priest, Druid, a Rogue, a Warrior. I've got like tons of victories I would need to get. So let's close this one and then see if we can challenge a friend. And while we're challenging a friend, let's see if we can maybe get lucky and get a Druid victory via the Tavern Brawl. Let's see. Galgun 2, Gametsu has an article, Galgun 2 Virtual Reality DLC now available for PC. The Doki Doki VR add-on fine-tunes the game for virtual reality.
Let the games begin.
It's $6.99 US dollars. The Galgun series in particular is way overpriced with all its DLC. I'd love to play the main games, and I'd love to have all the DLC, but they desperately need to put out a Game of the Year version that's a reasonable, like $60, not an insanely high, like $100+ This DLC, I suppose, doesn't really do anything for me anyways, though, because I'm almost certainly never going to get VR. To be fair, Galgun 2 might be one of the few games that would add up to enough of a reason to play in VR. But not alone. There'd have to be a lot of slightly interesting on-rail shooters or games with anime characters or games with sexual content of some sort. And yeah, just a lot of issues in general. Gametsu has another article, Super Neptunia RPG details skills and abilities. This is one of those we're gonna trickle information out articles as far as the next Neptunia game in the series. It doesn't look particularly interesting, it's just like showing menus, and that's it. So if I can wait till my battle cries double, that would be nice. Next we have a game on Steam called Blood Day. It looks like, well, it looks like it's a
Jade Serpent guide you.
slightly bad first-person shooter game, but maybe I'm feeling a little generous. Like, so I'm willing to probably keep this on the follow list until we see some reviews. $1.99 is not asking a lot in the first place. Not that I would want to play a bad game even at $1.99. Yeah, I'll wait till somebody reviews this and then we'll get to that. I have like no... We're looking for doubling battle cries. And we don't have that. See, this guy is playing way too fast. And he's not playing the long game. And so we're probably not going to win.
Nature will rise against you.
I don't know why he's threatening me. We're working together. Yeah, this guy sucks. That guy totally sucked. Next we have a game on Steam called Archaeology X, which is oddly the second archaeology game that we've seen. If this didn't look like it was just mostly a random desert and dust asset flip, the idea when I saw that book with notes sounded interesting. And the idea of walking around different environments looking for things in almost this giant Minecraft style self-generating world is an interesting idea. Like, if you're not able to just randomly dig somewhere and get something good, that would be cool. But yeah, this game is not to the level of quality where I could put it on the fall list. It's too much of an asset flip game. The developers made a couple other games that have been negatively reviewed also. And nothing that's been mixed or positive reviewed. Next we have a game on Steam called Origin of Decay, which looks like a zombie horror game in the subways. It doesn't look terrible. Looks a lot like Dying Light. I think this game I was going to put on the fall list anyways from Wednesday, but honestly Wednesday went so badly for me I just was falling asleep like crazy. Yeah, Origin of Decay actually looks pretty good. Like, I don't remember anything I said at all. Like, just straight up. So if this was going on the fall list, it'll go on the fall list again. Next we have a game on Steam called Noise Inno CE, which I assume is just nice being mispronounced. Yeah, this has a little bit of polish to it, so I do want to put this on the fall list. This could be nothing, or it could just play very badly, certainly. But a platformer, hack and slash, kind of beat 'em up game doesn't sound horrible. Seems like this character is just always making a sound effect. Okay. I'm trying to find reasons to either double but I'm not there yet. So yeah, Noise will be on the fall list. Next we have a game on Steam called Cardcore, which looks like a card game. I think I was going to put this on the fall list, but I think we could probably decide. Well, it's a free-to-play game. I'll put this on the fall list, but almost certainly it's not going to make it to the wish list. It's just going to be ignored amongst far too many other yeah, like far too many other games. card games in particular. I really don't like the sound effect that this card is making. Next we have this game called Heart Chain Kitty, which I can not tell what it is at all. It says it's a 3D platformer. And none of the videos want to load. $12.74. Yeah, it looks like it might be a kid's game, like a fun 3D platformer, so I'll wait, put it on the fall list, see what the reviews say. Come back over here. There's like specifically two cards that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Panda Bear, and I'm looking for the legendary that would allow me to double my battle cries. And yeah, I'm not seeing either one of those. The good news is, I think if I kind of rush here, we could potentially wrap up. And we'll just go a little long in this last recording, and so we don't have to make a fourth recording, which is good because, like, probably nobody's watching right now anyways. It's the middle of the night. My insomnia, and I really don't even want to get into it, but it certainly has been a factor. Right. This.
That's incredible.
And in the turn. Next we have a game called Toy Road Constructor. If it is just the toy roads being constructed, though, I think there have been better games out there. And yeah, I don't think that there's enough of a game here as the idea. Like, this is a slightly interesting gimmick for about 5 minutes, but the rough animation style on the cars, the lack of variety in the cars, and if all you're really doing is just constructing a few jumps and such, yeah, that doesn't feel like that's $4.19 of value. Right. Each spell cost, next turn cost that.
The mighty Millhouse Metastorm! Prepare to face the mighty Millhouse Metastorm!
Okay. That should be good. I'm trying to win here. Next we have a game on Steam called Mr. Maze from Screen 7. In all honesty, I wouldn't give this game the time of day because it looks very rough if it weren't for the fact that it was from Screen 7, the publisher, I believe, of the Cat Lady. I don't think it's the developer of the Cat Lady, though, and Downfall and Lorelei when it comes out. But Screen 7 kind of has this special place in my heart, but the graphics do look pretty bad. So maybe they could polish that a little bit before it comes out in December? Maybe? It says it's a walking simulator adventure game. Yeah, I could definitely buy that. Alright, so what do I want to do? Let's just play this.
My winged children fill the skies. My winged children fill the skies.
And let's go ahead and do that. So this guy still has a lot of life left. There's a lot more that needs to be done before we win.
Sometimes I forget things. My eyes are open.
See, he just made a mistake and he's going to have to kill something. If he fills his entire field, this guy will kill everything on his side.
I've been inside that thing for months.
Yeah, he just screwed up terribly. See this, and this,
guide my lance.
and then that's the best I can do. So we have a game on Steam called Curfew, which looks like it's a platform jumper style of game. Look at these screenshots. It doesn't look good enough. It looks more of an asset flip than it should. Looks kind of random in its assets too. So yeah, this art doesn't look very good. Looks like this was cut out of a picture and made in MS Paint or something. So yeah, okay. I can play this, I suppose. That's kind of all I can do. And this. And he screwed me again. My opponent here not playing well, so I'm getting screwed over because of that.
For a loon.
Like, this guy is almost certainly going to
The great outdoors.
he's almost certainly going to attack me or him, and we'll lose. Okay, this might help a little bit. Okay. Play this. Play this. Excess mana, perhaps? To draw a card. Spells. This might cause him to destroy Lorwalker Cho instead. Kinda don't have anything else I can do. So now if he attacks both heroes, he'll definitely win. Let's see, next we have a game on Steam called Detective Escape 1. Looks like it's more of a adventure, simplistic style of game. Seems a little random in its art style compared to like this background or even the background here. Yeah, it just does not have enough polish, frankly, to deserve to be on the wish list. I could restore 5 health, that would not save me in any way. Let's go ahead and draw a card. Let's see. Do I want to do anything? Not particularly. He protected himself and allowed me to die. And yeah, you're just not gonna survive. You're not gonna win this tavern brawl if there's no cooperation. Next we have a game on Steam called Moneymaker, which seems like it's kind of a generic walking around
Let the games begin.
asset flip game. Like, what is this really? We got to this point. It does seem like you're just walking around. I'm gonna continue to watch this game and video and see what it is. There we go. Yeah, I have no idea what this game Moneymaker is, but I can pretty much tell you it's not a good game.
I agree.
Seems just like an insanity asset flip, merging of random assets. Next we have a game on Steam called Royal Roads, which is a real-time strategy game. I kind of like this art aspect if this was full screen, but this is probably just a cutscene and you're going to spend 90% of your time looking at this resource management game. If this was a cell phone game, I'd probably play it, but as a Steam game, it's not something that I'm interested in. Gametsu has an article. Hana Sakai Work Spring for the PS4 will feature the same content as the PS Vita. The PlayStation 4 version of the romance visual novel Hana Sakai Work Spring, due out November 22nd, will not have any differences from the April 2017 released PS Vita version, publisher Intergram said in a tweet. This is of course concerning the concern of censorship that started to happen in the case of let's see, in the case of PlayStation is what I'm trying to say, yeah. And they tweeted out a picture, but for comparison, but the picture they tweeted out is of an anime girl who admittedly might be a little bit shorter and then assumed to be a little bit younger because she's a little bit shorter, which inherently that is a whole conversation to have, is that just because somebody's short doesn't mean they're young, particularly when you're talking about anime characters who aren't real in the first place and don't have to follow any kind of realm of reality as far as what a growth spurt looks like or what height means or indicates. But this anime girl, she's walking, hopping, and her skirt's slightly flipped up so you can see the back of her thighs, and that's pretty much it. Maybe there's for maybe a couple pixels you're seeing some underwear, pantsuit as it is, but that's it. Oh man, that guy was not patient enough for me, so that one may have been my fault. But this is hardly one of the instances that had been censored before anyways. Like, they were censoring instances of people in bikinis, so unless there's a bikini scene in the game, that should have been the comparison video. So it almost feels like the creator is straight up lying, but one would assume you wouldn't want to do that. But they might be being slightly deceptive. It could be the PS Vita version was censored in the first place, so they had already done their censorship. Gametsu has another article. Atlas responds to concern over Sony's regulations affecting Catherine full body updated. Let's see what the update is, because update. It should be... Let's see. Seems to be some translation error that they updated.
I'm waiting for no one.
Let's see. So here's the update question. The scenes in the trailers won't get hidden by mysterious lights, will they? Answer. As for mysterious lights being in Catherine full body. ... Question. Are there any regulations that warranted the PlayStation 3 version being put in? That the only thing I'm worried... that's the only thing I'm a bit worried about. They are ... Oh, I guess the update is not answering the full response, so I'm gonna have to come around.
Time waits for no one.
Guide my lands.
Alright, so there are no mysterious lights in Catherine full body. We went as far as we could without we could go without the light shining. To everyone worried about that, we love you. We received about 10 more of the same questions. It's about the only response here. So it seems like what they're saying here, and boy is this a rough translation. It seems like what they're directly saying here is that the what they call ichi scenes, the not actually sex scenes, but or doja H scenes. I guess H does mean ichi, doesn't it? Seems like what they're saying is the sex scenes in Catherine full body are just not there and not included. I don't know if there's another version in which they were included per se, but
Time waits for no one.
yeah. So the response is not included, so either the ichi scenes are not included, or the lights covering up the ichi scenes are, yeah, the ecchi scenes are not included. There's a question in regards to recent talk surrounding PS4. Are there any regulations? I want an honest answer. To everyone worried about that, we love it. Yeah, so this is an odd translation. Let's see. So yeah, that question and answer is just not being translated in any way that can mean anything at all. We'll just have to see what Catherine full body looks like on the PS4. If anything, I think in the long run it would be better if it did have to be censored on the PS4 and that caused some the controversy, so that then this whole censorship by Sony gets shouted down and Sony realizes that's not good for business and stops doing it. If Sony does very much what YouTube often does, which is we have one rule for the big successful games and then we have different rules for the small time games, then we'll run into a case of them being able to implement censorship with not as much outcry as there should be. And personally, I just am looking forward to games like Catherine full body, and I don't even know if Catherine 1 is on PC, but I'd like them both on PC. Although I'm not sure that you actually need the original game on PC, because full body seems like it's probably just a remaster of the original game. Next we have a game on Steam called No Crossing, which looks like it's a mouse shooter. style game with some just random simplistic art assets. Almost like a clicker game, more interactive. This would be very RSI, like repetitive stress injury inducing, I think, pretty quickly. And it doesn't look that fun or that interesting.
What to do?
Let's see, spell damage +2. Battle cries, still looking to double him. Let's see. Each one 1 mana. Next we have a game on Steam called Montaro Ray. Montaro being a Japanese dog, I think, that is kind of famous. Seems like this is a pretty simplistic platformer game. It's rated very positively, so I'll put this on the follow list and we'll see. Looks like it would be interesting for a short amount of time if it's 99 cents. I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually a remaster of another Montaro game. But let's see. And yeah, a slight improvement. Okay. Spells. And this. And end of turn. Can't really do anything else. Though I could certainly do that. TechRaptor has an article. Big Ben acquires the publishing rights for Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthbound. So Big Ben Interactive will be making publishing rights of what I think is a tabletop game, and they're going to turn it into an action RPG. Yeah, there's really no other information right now. Okay. So, I'm gonna play this. And do this. And then do this. If I attack this, it should be fine. Yeah. And then the turn. Next we have a game on Steam called Poopy Philosophy, which looks like it's just a really dumb troll game. Like, it seems really stupid. Yeah. Yeah, this is a very low effort troll game, clearly. Not something that's worth owning. How much do they want for it? 99 cents? I'm not asking a lot, but still, that's way too much. Okay. Next turn is the turn I'd like to do this on. So let's play this, draw a card, and attack here. 5 damage, or draw a card. And then we'll end the turn there. See, this guy still has like 74 health though, so this guy's gonna step up his game.
Funnel cakes! Get your funnel cakes here!
Thank you if he's not gonna step up his game, it's gonna be hard to win. Like, I've done everything to increase the spell damage. Okay. This.
You die now.
This.
Trouble.
And that. Play this.
Pay attention, class.
And whenever you cast a spell, get a 1/1 apprentice. Which I think I can do that and be fine.
I'm ready to work.
Oops.
I'm ready to work.
I screwed up. Oh man.
Time waits for no natural.
So, yeah, I'm paying a little bit more attention here because I'd like to win this. But also, let's cover the news. Next, we have a game on Steam called Color Chain, which looks like you're supposed to find a pattern of maybe slightly adjacent colors to chain them, because this doesn't really feel like you're going from just one color to all the color, not just sticking on yellow and ending on yellow. So that sounds slightly interesting as a puzzle game, so I'll keep it on the follow list and we'll see what happens.
Pay attention, class.
And here, 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 here. This will give us 7, so I can't
The great
quite
outdoors.
do that. Let's do this.
I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn.
Time waits for no one.
See, I can't play a card right now, so I'll have to hold on to that excess mana. TechRaptor has an article, Chroma Deluxe brings a little color to Nutaku. Nutaku being the sex game portal. So Chroma Deluxe Sexy Hinter Girls is the newest downloadable puzzle game. Yeah, and like most of these adult games, they don't look animated very well. They look like they're pretty low effort games. Which kind of explains like why most of them are not worth playing. TechRaptor has an article, Total War Arena is shutting down in February, giving freebies to players. So yeah, you can get all these freebies for Total War Arena if you wanted to play or go back to playing it now, but in February it's just shutting down completely. Oh, wait. Players can choose between the following Total War related goodies. You can get Total War Medieval 2 Definitive Edition, Total War Rome 2 Hannibal at the Gates DLC, Total War Attila Age of Carmelian DLC, and Total War Warhammer Grim and Grave DLC. But I imagine there's something in that too that's not being mentioned. I don't think... Hey, I'm about to win. I don't think that this is a case of people who have never played the game before could jump into it and get this free award. I think it's more of a case of if you put some money into this free-to-play game, at some point you'll get a reward. There we go, finally. Let's see. Or you're also getting 30 days premium time in either World of Tanks, World of Warships, or World of Warframes, with 30 days common across all 3 titles. You'll need to have played 100 or more battles in Total War Arena, but that's still pretty swish. So, yeah, it's not for just new people. You maybe could jump into Total War Arena right now and get that. Oh well, we got an epic. Can't complain about getting an epic on the Asian account. Better than nothing. You know, I don't have time for it, but I'm kind of ready for the new expansion to happen. And see, that epic was one I already had, so now I just have 1600 dust, which, okay. Where does that leave us on daily quests? 2 more druid cards, a paladin, a priest, and challenge a friend. Let's see if we can challenge a friend. If this guy's doing Tavern Brawl, let's see how far this guy is from winning. He just started. Let's see, when you're over here, can you spectate? No. You have to leave spectate mode. You can't just jump into spectate mode. It kind of is weird how the buttons change. And see, yeah, this guy's new too. So none of them are very close to winning or losing. Yeah, this guy's not anywhere close either. Alright, so let's see if we can play a game. I may have to do challenge a friend off screen. Meanwhile, Paladin and Priest, we can probably pull that one off. Control Priest. Gamatsu has an article. NG is coming to the PlayStation 4 February 21st, 2019 in Japan. NG apparently is some kind of horror visual novel. Like, that's kind of all I have here. Yeah, it seems like it's kind of a horror adventure sort of visual novel game.
Light shall bring victory. Light
I'm seeing a lot of dark
smiles upon the
screenshots, and kind of a ghostly figure of blob. And that's kind of all I can see. Yeah, it's tagged horror experience and visual novel. Let's see, I don't want that one, or that one yet. Yeah, I have an idea of what I'm supposed to do now. Next we have a game on Steam called Maya, M-A-I-A. It's mixed already. It looks like it's a top-down, like, twin-stick shooter style game. It says it's actually a strategy simulation game. Looks a little random, and seeing these mixed reviews, that's good enough for me. $24.99 is also an incredibly expensive price. Let's do this. And the turn. Gamatsu has an article. I Am the Hero launches November 27th for the PS4 and PS Vita, November 30th for the Switch. I Am the Hero looks like it's a beat 'em up style of game. Let's see. Yeah, I Am the Hero is a pixel art beat 'em up game, fighting game that tells the story of the hero. It doesn't look particularly interesting or well animated. Right.
comply.
Next we have a game on Steam called Cubic Factory, which looks like it's an Infinifactory ripoff with some Roblox / Minecraft added on top of it. Yeah.
I must consider.
This is such a ripoff of an idea, and it's so generic and bland visually. Early access also. Like, I'm not even willing to give that one the time of day.
I comply.
There we go. Next we have a game on Steam called You Have 10 Seconds 3, which I feel like You Have 10 Seconds 1 and 2 came out in the last couple of weeks, or if not the same day. The idea of a WarioWare, you only have a short amount of time to figure out what to do and do it, is interesting, but then adding platforming to it kind of kills that interest for me. And this seems very generic visually and boring, and that flashing light that's happening right now is definitely distracting. Let's see. Heal. Double. Attack. End the turn. Next we have a game on Steam called Apollo 11 VR HD. It looks very polished, so I know it's a VR game, but apparently maybe you don't need VR to actually play it. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it requires VR, so I'll put this on the follow list. It's probably not too much of an experience, frankly, but it's one of those VR games that will just probably sit on the follow list for a very long time. There we go. I think we only have a few more games to cover, which is good because this is going to turn into a 2-hour video otherwise. Next we have a game called Julie's Sweets, which is just the standard cook serve delicious style of games. Like, still standing by my thought, if I don't want to play games where I'm doing somebody's job, that just does not appeal to me at all. So I'm not going to bother to put that on the follow list or think any more about it. Next we have a game on Steam called Space Tycoon, which looks like it's a space game that's early access. That's also a Chinese game, which makes me kind of suspicious about its quality or its length and its translation. I'm not a big fan of space games anyways, so it's pretty easy to remove that. I could silence all minions, or I could do 2 damage to all minions. This would kill me if I did this. I don't see a real reason to do that.
Bring the pain.
Oh, that was a mistake. Well, whatever. Gamatsu has an article. Kodakawa Games announces a strategy RPG called Project Europa for smartphones. Probably only coming to Japan to start off with. Like, we'll get more information when that's actually ready to be released. That's here's another article. Root Letter, the horror visual novel, I believe, is getting a Hollywood movie made by Akatsusuki Entertainment USA. So, honestly, I have a lot more faith in something like that than any of the other video game to movie games that have existed. Like, because that kind of makes sense. That a horror story could be translated pretty easily. Let's see. The project is in initial stages with the script still being written. It promises to remake the mystery elements of the game with an emphasis on reality. I haven't played Root Letter, so that might be an interesting reason for me to go and play Root Letter before the movie comes out. But honestly, if it's an early production, it could never come out of early production, or it could come out in theaters or direct to DVD like 10 years from now. So until you have a firm release date, you're kind of not doing anything.
I don't need any of you.
Yes. And let's see. There we go. Next we have a game on Steam called Equinox, which looks like it's a simulation flower planting style game, which looks pretty just kind of random, click to wait style of gameplay. Yeah, I don't think this is an actually fun experience from what I'm guessing it actually is. Let's see if this developer's made anything else. No, they haven't. It's rated very positively, so maybe I'll give it a follow. Maybe you create your own ecosystem, planting plants, and then animals show up. And then, is it kind of like a Pokemon idea? You see things grow.
Is someone injured?
And how do I want to play this? Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything happens after you get this ecosystem going. It just seems like it keeps on going. Yeah, my first thought was the right thought. This looks boring. Next we have a game on Steam called V-Range. I'm moving a little slower now. A virtual VR, like, gun range. It would kind of make sense, I guess, if you wanted to shoot guns, but you didn't want to shoot guns at people, and you afforded VR, could afford VR, and you want to spend $13.50. But honestly, this is more of a concept that should be by default in any VR shooter game that then goes on to have a storyline and some actual enemies to shoot, whether it's zombies or something else. Like, if you're that squeamish about shooting virtual characters, you're probably also going to be squeamish about shooting guns in general. So yeah, it doesn't feel like that's something that's worth focusing on. see.
Right away.
Quickly.
So yeah, I don't think V-Range needs to be on the fall list. Next we have a game on Steam called Sam's, S-A-M-S, which looks like it's a side-scrolling shooting game that doesn't really interest me. Yeah, there's really nothing here, although I kind of do like the art style. It just seems simplistic and not my type of game. Early access for $4.19. Yeah. Okay. Do I have something I can do here? If you're holding a dragon, which I'm not, so let's play this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Instead of cards.
Let's do this.
Let the pain speak to me.
Let's do this.
I'm out of cards.
And heal here. And end the turn. If only I had Mechathune in this deck, I could potentially win. Next we have a game called Ancient Frontiers Steel Shadows Beta, which looks like another space game, strategy game. Looks uninteresting.
I wonder.
It's free, I guess, but it's a beta. So yeah, that's not making it to the list. Next we have a game called Das Geistershift, which would be some kind of ghost walker or something. This looks like a game that you would have played in Virtual Boy. It really looks like just a Virtual Boy game. It's a cyberpunk dungeon crawler, it seems. Oh, not Ghost. Geist. Yeah. It's a mech. It's a mech dungeon crawler game. Yeah. Well, despite the fact that I'm probably one of the 3 people in the world that have nostalgia of playing the actual Virtual Boy, that's still not good enough for me to want to play it. Let's see. I'm just gonna play all these cards. Just for the fun of it, I suppose. Next we have a game on Steam called And You're There Too, which looks like it's just going through the solar system, flying around with some lines of dialogue. It's probably designed to be inspiring, but it probably is also just some random text. VR, and it's free. It doesn't look good enough quality, though, that I'd actually put it on the list. Alright, let's come back and see. Is anybody still doing Tavern Brawl things? See, the problem with playing a game and when you need to challenge a friend is that everybody else will be playing too, or they're quitting immediately. So you can really never challenge a friend. Let's see. Oh, see, he just immediately went back into the brawl. So you really can't ever get it done. That was Priest we tried to play. Let's try Paladin. Actually, let's play casual Paladin. This should be the last game unless I just messed up terribly. And then I'll just do the rest offline. We have this game called imaze.exe, which is a very basic maze generator one-screen Unity game. Clearly not anything special, even for 59 cents. Still not quality enough to really be purchased.
I will fight with honor.
Let's go ahead and trade this. And I think we could probably trade that. Gamatsu has an article. Square Enix trademarks Parasite Eve in Europe. Is it possible that there's something new on the way as far as Parasite Eve? A remake of Parasite Eve would do very well, I think. A continuation of Parasite Eve, not as much, because you kind of need a remake, reboot, remaster. It's too old of a game. The first entry in the RPG franchise launched on the PlayStation in 1998, so you're talking 20 years ago. Like, so you really can't just do a 20-year anniversary remaster on that. But there is also thought that the Parasite Eve might be coming out as a movie. Let's see. The second game came out in 1999 on the PlayStation, and then a third game titled The Third Birthday launched for the PSP in 2010. So yeah, you kind of need a rough reboot there.
Access denied.
Incredible.
If you are gonna do something with Parasite Eve, which would be nice. Like a reboot would be cool. It being an RPG though, and kind of JRPG at that, there is this question about, well, that puts it in the list of JRPGs I haven't played yet, so do I want to play a Parasite Eve remake, or do I want to play the most recent Dragon Quest, or the most recent Final Fantasy game? So yeah, there's still a lot of questions that would have to be thought through.
Reporting for duty.
Well, I just had a terrible thought. Right now there's a tab on to the right of where I am on my Chrome browser that looks like something I don't recognize. It looks kind of like a movie clapboard, and I just thought to myself, maybe, just maybe, that's a notification to recover a bunch more tabs. And so instead of the 6 tabs that I have left, maybe I have like 56 more tabs. Well, if that's the case, we'll cover it on Friday. I think we've gone long enough here today, and we started late, and it's nearly 2 in the morning. Although I'm probably still going to do some work until 3 or 4 or even 6 in the morning. I've got scheduling I need to do. Moving on with news, Gamatsu has an article, 20th Century Fox trademarks Alien Blackout for the use with video games, with an update. So let's see what the update is. The Twitter accounts at Alien Blackout and Alien_Blackout have been discovered. Both were created in September. So if a game is in development called Alien Blackout, I imagine it might be connected to an Alien movie that they're in the middle of developing too. So it probably takes less time to develop a movie than it does to develop a video game. So yeah. But it doesn't seem like that's a bad thing, certainly. Sounds like a cool idea, sounds like a good move. Next we have a game on Steam called Cute quote parentheses hard puzzles. It's tagged with sexual content, so I won't show it. It looks like it's a very basic, not hard puzzles at all game with some anime girls in the background that probably weren't licensed if I was to guess. It looks like this is probably just the game Blackout, where you click on a box and the boxes around it flip from being lit up to not being lit up. Yep. And again, we're hitting this point where the low effort, bad anime games are kind of not are getting free reign and free release on Steam, but then you're not seeing any good or visual novel, even mediocre sex games coming out, or anime games coming out. So it seems like some things get flagged and then the very low effort ones aren't getting flagged or looked at, and I don't know why. Maybe they get looked at and then they just get approved because they don't care. Or maybe the low effort ones are lying about the content in their games and everybody else is being honest. That wouldn't surprise me. Next we have a game called The Haunted Island, a frog detective game. I think I've already covered this. It's rated very positively. It looks like it might be a troll game, but it's good enough now at least to put on a follow list based on the reviews. So there we go. I may have missed the Borderlands the pre-sequel code for turkey heads, which I suppose is not a big deal. I haven't gotten around to installing Borderlands the pre-sequel because it's too big to have both that and Borderlands 2 installed. And I need to get back to playing Borderlands 2. Next we have a game on Steam called The Experiment Escape Room. I think this is a game I saw some people playing. And if it isn't, it looks good enough at least to be on the follow list. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it requires any kind of VR stuff, even though it seems like it's included. There we go. Can we challenge a friend? Let's see if he'll accept. Please accept, please accept. I said that was going to be the last game, but we'll play one more. What do I need to win with? I'm gonna just choose Warrior and hope that's what I need to play. Probably not gonna win anyways, but whatever. We have this game on Steam called Neon Code, which looks cyberpunk and looks polished enough to deserve being on this. The guy typed in good in English on the chat. The guy I'm challenging, but that's probably it. And now I'm on the Humble Bundle site, so let's see. There's a Humble Bundle board games bundle. Let's look at what that is. Let's see if these are video games or actual board games. Humble Bundle was giving away a game, and they gave it away only through their own like DRM free service. They didn't give it away via Steam key. And so I'm kind of wondering if Humble Bundle is getting away from giving away Steam keys. If that's the case, then I'm gonna stop talking about Humble Bundle. Like, I feel like I've already kind of shilled and hyped them up a lot already. See, there's a Best of Stardock, but Stardock is not any games. It's a bunch of applications that most people wouldn't need window manipulation applications. Let's see, there's a new comics bundle. Yeah, the Jumbo 12 bundle looks like it's really the only games bundle on Steam still. I suppose the autumn sale for Steam is over. I didn't buy anything. But I do think I will be spending some money in December during that sale. Unless that sale also just has like no reason to exist. If it's not giving me trading cards and badges, I may only spend a small amount of money. After the December sale for Steam, I don't think that there's really anything else there's any kind of sale for a while. So yeah, the Jumbo 12 bundle, you get Pinstripe, Super House of the Dead Ninjas, Super House of the Dead Ninjas, the Ninja Pack, and Rise of Shine for $1 or more. And those are still Steam codes. If you pay more than the average of $5.13, you get Project High Rise, Construction Simulator 2015, and Battleship Brigade. Which the fact that that is still $5.13 tells me that this deal has not been embraced very much. It's probably, if I was to guess, because of it just being too close to the release of so many other games. If you pay $10 or more, you get the mixed reviewed Dirt 4 and Oriental Empires. I think I probably will take the $5.13 deal. This bundle has 5 more days for me to consider that. And that puts me on Steam. And let's see. So Steam then had 14, I'm on Twitter. Twitter had 14 new tweets. Let's see how many of those games, or those tweets have anything to do with the game. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article here. Nintendo denies Skyward Sword speculation. This was pretty much a joke, even when it happened. That everybody with half of a realistic brain in their head knew it was a joke that Skyward Sword was coming to the Switch. It could come to the Switch, certainly, and it might come to the Switch eventually, but it's not coming to the Switch right now. It's not on the tables. Like, a lot of the old Nintendo games could come to the Switch and help build up that platform a lot more. Particularly if people are nostalgic to play old Wii games, or maybe Wii U games that they never played. Gematsu has an article, Path of Exile for PS4 delayed to February 2019. We don't really have to read that whole article. We get the gist of it. I need to play because this guy is playing me. And I retweeted the Plague Inc. because they apparently have a new game coming out. Endemic Creations, or is I believe the name of it. Yeah, Endemic Creations. They've got a new game coming out, which might be cool. Like, it'd be interesting to see them do something very, very different instead of just a slightly varied version of Plague Inc. Let's see. Go ahead and do that. And that. And then end the turn. So the only game that came out between when I started at 8 p.m. and now at 2 in the morning Central Time was this game called Rail World. Games typically don't come out during the night. This game, Rail World, looks too much like a cell phone game to be put on the wish list. It's just got way too many currencies and buttons on the screen. Yeah. So yeah, that's not making it to the list. Which also puts me in an interesting position because now I'm just kind of done. Guess we could double check Twitch and see what the latest Twitch Prime deal might be.
For the war chief! For Hellscream!
So, I have this video on Twitch that has been processing for weeks and weeks. It's never going to stop processing. Let's see if you... Apparently there's a claim offer here. Pre-order between now and December 2nd and get 500 bits if you pre-order Kingdom Hearts 3, and it seems like you could just click claim offer there and the button would just automatically pre-order the game. Like, I don't want to click the claim offer button just on the case of accidentally pre-ordering Kingdom Hearts 3, which is definitely not what I'd want to have happen. And that's like the only Twitch Prime thing. It feels like Twitch Prime in particular has gotten pretty bad as far as what it offers. It's not a really good deal anymore. So that leaves us with no more news. And so we're caught up for Friday. We just have to inherently not screw up. Let's see.
Mushroom power!
Like, I don't even have to win here, so I could just let... We just need to play out this game. And yeah, as long as I can wake up at a more reasonable time Friday, we should be good for that stream. I'm more concerned now about finding enough time and focusing my time specifically to scheduling videos and getting back to recording Borderlands 2. I have all that DLC I want to cover. It's been quite a while, so any little frustrations I may have had with Borderlands 2, it may all come flooding back immediately, but it also very possibly won't. Let's just do that.
Light the fuses!
And yeah, as soon as like December happens, I think it really is just going to be Hearthstone and Borderlands 2, and I'll probably try to squeeze in some kind of point and click. It's been a long time for me since I played a point and click, but that'll be the third time slot and that comes out, and that's probably how it's going to be. I'm going to try and stick to that for all of 2019, is just like some game, and then a AAA game, and then Hearthstone. And that's it. And it maybe it's a point-and-click game that will be in that some game slot. Maybe it's a AA game that will be in that slot. But yeah, I think that's how it needs to be. I'm kind of surprised that anybody even came on the chat and chatted, even though it was earlier. I could concede at this point, but might as well just play. This guy might have a daily quest that he's trying to accomplish in the process, so I might as well help him. It's not video game related, but I can report back that I've now been using my new thermostat, the Ecobee 3 Lite, with 2 room remote sensors for a couple of days, and I can say that the Ecobee seems to be missing a lot of auto set features that the Nest does, but it also seems to be a bit better about just generally figuring out the right temperature and making it comfortable in my house. The room remote sensors do a very good job to recognize that, hey, the room I'm in where I'm streaming and my computer is running is like 5 degrees more than any of the other rooms in my house. So let's average that out and work towards cooling that room specifically, which the room I'm in happens to be at the very end of the air conditioner line as far as the vents go. So with the 2 room sensors and the sensor on the wall, it averages those 3 together. Really the only thing I'm kind of missing is daily reports on usage. It seems like it only builds monthly reports on usage, which is not helpful, particularly when you're trying to adjust things. But I have noticed that there are some internal settings that you can adjust a little bit closer and make a few more micromanagement probably bad decisions by changing them from their default settings. Like the Ecobee doesn't allow you to adjust by half temperatures, but it does allow you to it does censor at half degree temperatures. So it will wait a little bit, it'll turn on a little bit faster, which is probably better for the experience. Generally speaking though, if you have a new house, mine is particularly old, I would say a Nest, and mine was a Nest generation 1, so maybe the newer generations are better. Like, I think a Nest would be easier and better for most people, particularly if you don't want to mess with setting it up too much. But the Ecobee 3 is better for people who have bad older houses with bad AC vents. Like, I suspect my AC vent is very much clogged. But then there's also problems. If you get a Nest thermostat, you're paying like $250, and you're paying probably the same amount, if not a little bit more, for an Ecobee 3 Lite and 2 room sensors. If you get the Ecobee 4, you get the functionality of an Alexa inside of your thermostat, which is not something I particularly even wanted, so that's why I didn't get it. But it does make some sense to have some more voice activation in some of these simplistic devices, and so they're starting to put voice activation in thermostats and smoke detectors, which is something, certainly. A new game just came out called Unidentified on Steam. It's pretty much an asset flip, dark screenshot game. Yeah, not something that would actually make it to the wish list. I don't think there was really anything else too exciting that I purchased during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. There was definitely a couple of things I was looking to purchase. I'm still trying to find a Gigabyte 1080 or 1080 GTX video card on a decent sale. I probably could afford to buy a bigger SSD at some point. I looked at my SSD and I've written over like 32 terabytes of data to it just because of all the video I've recorded and uploaded. So yeah, that probably is a rough estimate of how many videos are on YouTube, of mine particularly. So yeah, if I tried to download all of that, it would be a mess. It would probably be at least 20 terabytes, and I only have 20 terabytes of free space. I don't think anybody really does. So yeah, a backup replacement hard drive would be very useful to perhaps move my operating system over without reinstalling everything. Looks like I'm gonna lose here, but that's fine. That's all I needed to do. You really gonna play Shutterwalk? Just take the victory.
My jaws that bite, my claws that catch. My jaws that bite, my claws that catch. My jaws that bite, my claws that catch. My jaws that
come on, just take the victory. I don't feel like you really needed to do that, but whatever. Okay, and that leaves us with 2 Druid or Rogue victories we'll need to do next, this Friday. We're in a really good position as soon as that new expansion comes out, I think. So if I go into crafting mode, the new expansion is still not visible here. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was next week. We haven't been to the shop in a while. Let's see. And he said good game. Packs openable before December 31st. So we kind of know that this Razathan's Rumble is going to be before December 31st. I bet it's not the week of Christmas. I bet it's a week before Christmas. But boy, do I have better things I could do with $50 than buy cards. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos because that helps me with YouTube and tells them that my videos are worth watching. If you want to friend or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below. Google+ is probably going away pretty quickly though. But don't delete your Google+ accounts because a YouTuber did that and accidentally deleted his entire channel I saw on Reddit. Which is a good warning, but I mean, inherently, I don't think I would do anything. I'd just leave it and let YouTube decide what they're gonna do with it, or Google decide what they're gonna do with it. If you want to support me, which would be greatly appreciated, there are links down below for Patreon, or for friending me on Steam and buying me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.